Hello everybody and welcome back to Path of Exile 2. We are continuing our, this is basically an extension of the old casual mapping series that we used to do, but for the most part, just kind of trying to hang out and play. I think I'm going to take this guy here because the other two characters I use basically use elemental spells, and this is a chaos build. We're doing our Essence Drain Lich. That's what we're using right now. So, it says map attempted. I don't really... Do I want to do this one? Yeah, we'll do this one. Might as well try to get the map done. I was super frustrated earlier because this map had several bosses on it, or several monsters on it in general that just I couldn't kill. They had the right combination of stats that just made it virtually impossible to kill them. I had like one of the rares I couldn't even damage. I couldn't even start bringing down their energy shield because it had proximal tangibility and it was armored, and I think there was one, and I think the map properties itself made it to where my my mercenary was just completely ineffective against it. It was insane, the combination of factors that came together to make some of these things ridiculous. So this is, I'm not, like, I know, like, some people, you know, they really like the whole, they really like the gamble mechanic in this game. I really don't. I want there to be consistency so that I can consistently, you know, I want there to be a challenge, sure, but there's a difference between making things challenging and then using RNG to, you know, half-ass make things challenging, rather than actually, you know, making things, rather than making mechanics that are fair and challenging, instead of just putting mechanics in that are just, you know, random one-shots. You might get random one-shot. Nothing you can do about it. You might get random, like, I'm sorry, that's bullshit game design as far as I'm concerned. If you can't balance your stuff, if you can't balance your characters and your monsters and all that stuff around the idea that, you know, there's no one-shots, or at least if there's going to be a one-shot, it's intended to be a one-shot ability that provides you with at least some kind of a wind-up for it. You know what I mean? Like, too many times running around these maps, I just all of a sudden die. Like, I don't know. Like, even this character sometimes, with all these hit points, all of a sudden dies. It's just, there's something funky there. There's something funky there. But yeah, we're just working our way through the maps, doing our daily dose of, you know, playing one of the three main characters that we're doing. I've been playing around with the idea of maybe trying to do another run-through with one of the other character builds, but to be perfectly honest with you, I believe the meta for the Sorceress is pretty much a lightning build, which is what we're already doing with our... Hold on, I gotta pay attention here. Which is what we're already doing with our Amazon. We switched over to that instead of the Bleed Rake build, because it's just... The Bleed Rake, it just... I have to say, I was watching a channel earlier, and they were saying that they were going to try to scale some of those abilities to make them a bit more viable, which sounds great, but it's not until the next league. And, you know, ideally in the next league, they're either going to bring out a new character class, so everybody's going to be playing that, and then, you know, I'm really hoping that the rumors that are floating around from channels like Talkative Try and a couple other people that they're super hinting at the idea that there might be new acts. You know, those are going to be the things that we're going to be focusing on. I'm not necessarily going to try to go back and play. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of hope that, you know, if they have to choose between new acts and a new class, I would much rather just get the new acts. Because A, having to repeat the story sucks, but also primarily B, well, I mean, I should... not the order in which I say things, oh my god, let me move. That kind of stuff right there is exactly what pisses me off about this game. Just random periods where the control of your character is just completely yanked away from you, and you're just forced to sit and take it. I don't care about realism, I care about fun. And it's not fun to just be forced to stand here and let things slam you until it's done. Really irritates me. I was saying, the order in which I say things doesn't necessarily indicate importance or, you know, ranks or anything like that. The most important thing to me at this point in the development process is I'm ready for some new storyline. I'm ready to find out what happens next with the story. Because, you know, I grew up... One of the reasons why video games tend to be something I get into is not necessarily just because of the game mechanics. The best video games, to me, have the best story. It's always been about the story. It's about the adventure. It's about going on a... It's about going on, you know... It's about going on an adventure, basically. It's one of the reasons why one of my goals is just to sail around the world, because, you know, like, what better adventure could you have than sailing around? Or, I don't know. We're moving into a period of time where global stability is not necessarily the most conducive towards doing something like that. So I don't know. I think it's certainly possible that my dreams of sailing around the world, of doing a circumnavigation, are probably unrealistic at this point. Just given the fact that, you know, the world is changing in a way that you know, we can smell it in the air and feel it in the water and whatever that's from Lord of the Rings. Okay, the world has changed. Yep. I can't remember the specific text for that. Anyways, you know, the world is changing in a way that makes it to where, you know, whereas Americans could travel around the world in relative safety, you know, 10, 20 years ago, it's getting to the point now where, you know, leaving the Eastern Hemisphere leaving the Western Hemisphere might not be the best idea. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just feels like that's the way things are going. The United States has kind of gotten tired of policing the world outside of things that, you know, the people in our government have decided they just specifically care about. But, you know, providing security for everybody just doesn't seem to be the priority anymore, nor can we really afford to do it. So, as much as it sucks, and as much as, you know, I was kind of hoping I would be able to go do that kind of stuff, but you know, in my lifetime, I don't know that it's just necessarily feasible. So maybe I'll amend my goal to do, you know, just circumnavigate the Western Hemisphere, go all the way down one side, up the other, and then maybe come back across the panel. I don't know if I'll ever come back to California. Like, if I'm able to get on a boat and leave, unless things really change here, I don't see myself coming back. It's too damn expensive, you know? I'm only really here still because, you know, life circumstances kind of force me to be. But those things are, at least on my side of things, are mostly changed, and I'm just waiting on my wife's obligations to kind of be over, and then maybe we can finally, you know, well, then there's the money part. Yeah, even if I had the money part sorted, I couldn't leave yet because we have certain things we had to take care of before we're done. I didn't even realize I leveled up. Too busy jabbering on about this. Working on these energy shield recharge rates and, you know, making sure they start faster. The faster we can get our energy shield recharge. I did end up switching offline back to the whole your life cannot change while you have no energy shield, just because I really felt like I needed a little bit more. I needed some protection against the heavy bleed and poison stuff that I was coming across. Like, that just goes straight through your energy shield. You need to be able to like mitigate that. The other way to do that is to just take the whole immunity to chaos damage, but then that gets rid of like almost 2,000 in health, and I don't really want that. I don't really want that. It's not the best in the world. So, for those of you an episode or two ago who you know, had to sit through that. I mean, I'm sure most of you probably didn't sit through it. Most of you probably realized, oh, I can't hear him talking, so I'm going to leave now. Anyways, I do a, before every recording session that I do a mic check. I check my levels, make sure that the microphone is actually recording. So at some point between me starting up my software and verifying that my mic was working and actually starting my first recording, something changed with the hardware and got confused and it stopped working, and I didn't catch it until halfway through my second video. You know, I don't know. Things like this happen when you're... Things like this happen. It just happened. Unless you're super anal retentive, and I used to be, but I'm just not anymore. I don't have the patience for, you know, super crazy attention to detail and obsessing over things anymore. I just don't have the patience for it. it's annoying. It's annoying to, like, I don't know. I think it's a natural tendency for people to just kind of get a little bit more laid back as they get older. You get tired of worrying about things. You get tired of obsessing over things. Like, I still want to put out a good quality product, so, you know, I'm not content that, you know, I had episodes that basically had no sound for me on it. I'm not accepting that, but at the same time, you know, you also start to get to a point where it's just like, well, you know what, sometimes crap happens, and it is what it is. I do try to, you know, put an effort into making sure that everything's all set up the way it's supposed to be. I try to put things in place, like, I try to put things in place to make sure that I don't forget this or forget that, because, you know, I'm a fairly absent-minded ADD kind of person. I've never been diagnosed or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised to be told that I have it. And so, you know, when you have that kind of thing going on, and, you know, as most ADD people do, there's different kinds. You have the kind where people just can't focus on anything, or you have the kind where people get hyper fixated on some things. I would think that I'm that kind of person. I think I'm the kind of, like, if I have that particular problem, I think I have the version of it where I get hyper fixated. So I'm like, when I'm playing these games, I glance over at the software just to kind of make sure it's running, but I'm not really paying attention to any of it. I'm just looking over there and making sure that it's going. So if I have it, I have the kind where I get super fixated on one thing and I can't pay attention to anything else because I'm super fixated on the one thing I'm looking at. Like, that would be the version of that. But yeah, you know, I got into that because I was talking about sailing around the world, and then you know, the obligations, and the reason why that came up was just the random train of thought that happens for me. I was thinking about the money part. You know, like, obviously I don't have the money part sorted out yet either. I'm still trying to figure that out. These two channels that I'm doing are, you know, a Hail Mary long shot hope that maybe I can build something that provides me with enough money to go do the things that I want to do, and you know, it's probably not gonna happen. I just even, you know, I mean, I could get on here hours and hours and hours every day, but YouTube or social media, content creation, all that stuff, it's one of those things where, you know, a lot of it just really depends on who you are and how you present yourself. And if you don't have that kind of presentation, or you're not willing to put out that kind of presentation that, you know, really just yanks people's attention, then you're just not gonna make it. You're just not gonna make it. You might get some limited success, but, you know, you have to have the right kind of personality to make content creation work, or you need to go after specific kinds of content that really grab people's attention. The problem with that is that from an ethical perspective, I just can't bring myself to do that. I know I could, like, I could go after all this drama stuff that people do. I could, but I hate drama. I don't find drama to be good content creation. It may get lots of views, but it's not good content creation. It's not good content. It's just drama. It's catering to this negative part of who we are that, you know, it really is something that we should be trying to reduce in our society. Like, I know people want to be excited about something. They want to have something happen that makes them go, ooh. But, I mean, it's not good for us. It's not good for us to be that way. Like, you know, gossiping about this and drama about that, and, you know, it's like, I could go as far as the whole protesting against, you know, bad things that are happening in the world. That at least makes sense. But a lot of the content on YouTube isn't even about that. It's about, you know, I don't know, just, you know, stupid people doing stupid stuff, and then we get a laugh out of it, or, you know, something crazy happens, and it's not really crazy. We just turn it into making it crazy because it's just kind of the way it goes. I don't know. Anyways, my point is that the kind of content that really sells on social media is exactly the kind of content that just, like, makes me feel gross. I don't know. So I could obviously I could try to find every juicy drama thing that I could find and put out a bunch of videos that hype it up and all that kind of stuff. Or you can do something that's super useful to people. But I don't really feel like I have anything. I don't really feel like I have anything to contribute in that space. I feel like I do have a gift for education. So, if I was doing didn't mean to do that. If I was doing educational videos, that would be great. But the problem is that, there are already so many, there are so many better educational channels out there that have production value that I could never match. And like, why are you going to watch me talking about an educational issue when you already have people with way better voices and way better production and way better research and way better all this stuff? Like, I have nothing to contribute in that aspect. I really don't think that I do. So the one thing that has been consistent in my entire life has been video games, and I've been trying to make this video game thing work for a little while. It's just, I don't know. The problem is just like everything else, the stuff I like is almost never the mainstream stuff that everyone else likes. And that's what, I'm not just going to play games just to play games on the off chance. Like, it's for the same reason I don't want to do the drama stuff, right? I want to play games that I want to play, not just because I want to play games and I don't want to have to play games I don't like. It's because if I'm not enjoying the game, then you're not going to enjoy watching me play the game. Like, that's how I think about it. If I'm not enjoying the game, you're not going to enjoy watching me play the game. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I guess, I have that angry... I used to be a keyboard destroyer way back in the day. I still have moments. Where sometimes, I just want to see if I can get something that's slightly better than what I have. No, not really. We can pop a couple on the... Wait, hold on. Yeah, it's all prefixes, so... Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, there's no way that's gonna be any better than what I had. I used to be a keyboard smasher. I still have moments every once in a while where I'll slam my palm on my desk because, I'm slow to anger, but I'm very quick to irritate. Like, it's very rare for me to actually get, like, really super angry, but I snap from irritation very, very quickly. So, yeah, especially back in the day, it used to be nothing for me to just slam my hand on the keyboard and then, crap, I broke my keyboard, I gotta buy another one. So, I guess I could. The angry gamer thing is definitely a part of me, and that would be a genuine playthrough, but I don't really want to be that, and I've been trying really hard over the years to get over that and stop doing that, and I don't really want to, like, lean into that and turn that into that, because, like, it's entertaining, I guess, to watch somebody losing their mind over a video game. But that's also super immature, and, I'm in my 40s now. I don't need to be I don't need to be acting like a freaking teenager in my gaming stuff. I still get frustrated. You'll like, especially off camera, I'll have moments just like, what the fuck? But for the most part, I try to moderate all of that, because you can't spend your whole life getting angry about stuff and smashing things and doing all of that. That's just, that's just not the way it goes. So, I say all of that to say that, unfortunately, the social media economy is based around hyperstimulation. Very few people are interested in an experience. Yeah, I would say that there's a difference between getting stimulation out of something and having an experience. I feel like the kind of content that I produce here, while I admit it's, relatively low effort, I feel like it's much more of an experience than some of this other stuff that's just, hey, pay attention to this and all. You know what I mean? Like, you could call that an experience, but that's like, I don't know. The problem is that these people, when you watch these people, they may be interesting to watch, but you're not getting the real them. They're putting on a show for you, and, maybe that's the point, I guess. I don't know. I get tired of that stuff, really. It's like cake. My favorite cake is actually tres leches cake, because it doesn't have a lot of icing on it, and the cake itself is just really delicious and moist and, you know, fun and enjoyable to eat. It's not the most flashy and crazy thing in the world. It just tastes good. You know, it's really nice to have a cake that has crazy amounts of icing on it the first 1 or 2 bites. But after a couple of bites, I'm just like, I don't want this cake anymore. I just want the cake part. And I start scraping the icing off because it's like, I don't really want any more icing. I'm tired of the icing. I just want cake. I want really good cake. And I feel like the old days of the Let's Plays that we used to have, where you actually would just sit down and watch a content creator and just kind of connect with them in a way. I miss those days. I miss those days. I miss the days of like Captain Sparkles just playing Minecraft, and you know, that's kind of the model that I'm going for with my channel. But those days are over, and so, you know, I've kind of accepted that. I'm still going on the off chance that maybe, you know, if I just keep at it, maybe it'll go somewhere. But for the most part, you know, I'm getting to the point where it's just like, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. And the things I would have to do to make it go somewhere are things that I don't know. I don't think I can stomach. So, anyways, all of that. I hope you enjoyed the actual video game part of this, and I was ranting on about a lot of different stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links for those of you who prefer to go that route. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for the next video, and I'll see you then.